Hello, it's Raticake and LazySp00n, and we're doing the Week 2 power rankings. Um, should we just hop into it, or do you have anything to say?
No, let's just hop into it.
Okay. So for 16th, we both have Liam. Uh, Liam didn't battle this week. He just forfeited. That's really it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to go through the... Next we have Wolf, who also...
You got the forfeit win from Liam's forfeit.
Yep, so we didn't see anything from Wolf, so we both just have Wolf in 15th place. So, don't have much to say about those two because they didn't battle. We haven't seen them battle. So, we're just kind of skipping over that.
Time to the real rankings now of the people who actually battled.
Yeah. So for 14th place, we both have Ducksuck. Do you have any, or do you want to put in why?
I mean, well, he lost, so, and compared to everyone else, he played the weakest out of everyone who lost, in my opinion. So I hope in future weeks I can see him win some games and do good, because I know he has the potential to do really good, because he's pretty creative.
Yeah, so one thing I took, kind of similar reasons for me, but one really big part was going into Fortress against the Celesteela.
Oh yeah, that cost him.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Because I was like, why did he switch into it?
Yeah,
It's like there's no reason to sack it off at that point and give the free beast boost off to Celesteela, which ended up sweeping.
Yeah, so I feel like he should have either stayed in with Shiinotic. I think that was the best play. Stay in, sack that thing most likely, and then even once Fortress died, so let's just say once he sacked Fortress, I don't see why Ducksuck didn't go into Darmanitan, which could have done just a ton of damage. I think it would have still outsped, so it could have just done a ton of damage, and then that would have allowed Keldeo to...
I will say that the first Hydro Pump miss from Keldeo did come up big, since the 3 would have killed, but only after 2, he was left with only like Celesteela was still alive after 2.
Yeah.
So if he hit that one, then Celesteela might not have swept. Well, it wouldn't have swept. It would have been dead. And the game might have been different.
Yeah, from like looking at I still think that Ducksuck would have lost.
Yeah,
but
because Celesteela was doing too much damage at that point.
Yeah. Overall, I just thought that one play was just such a big misplay in my mind that I put it down
that cost him the game.
Because not too many of them had big misplays.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Okay, so should we go into 13?
Yes, number 13.
Okay, so 13, I guess I'll go first. We both have Luke. I don't have too much to say, I guess, about Luke. To me, Luke played pretty average, didn't make any big plays, made some misplays, but overall it was alright. Luke just played against what was in front of him the whole time.
He didn't try to think too much into the future.
Whereas
he maybe tried to see a move or two in the future, but he didn't try to see 3-4 moves.
Yeah, whereas Vesuvius was playing a phenomenal game, making all the right predictions. Oh, yeah. And in this game, especially after the start, Luke really had to make some more predictions and harder reads.
He was playing from behind from early on.
And yeah, just played a safe game and not one that would have brought him back. So that's why I put Luke down here, because Luke also.
And when you play a safe game or from being down early on, that's tough. You have to make some bold plays and try to get back into the game.
And also, Luke did get 6-0'd, so while I don't think Luke played absolutely terrible, the fact that he got 6-0'd is why I put him in 13th.
Yeah.
Versus a little bit higher. Okay, so should we go into number 12, or do you have anything?
Yes. Number 12, we both have Nathan. I was reading our names for some reason, and I was like, wait.
Yeah. So do you want to go first?
Yes. Oh, no, you can go first.
Okay. So Nathan, this is one that I thought kind of had a little bit of a hard matchup. One big thing I saw is right away sacking Registeel. Didn't quite... It seemed to do a decent amount of work, because then it could have helped deal with Alolan Ninetales. There was something else it might have like helped deal with.
Yeah.
When I feel like Nathan could have fairly safely gone into like Delmise, and but didn't and lost Registeel, which I feel like could have really helped out. And then because of that, Nathan ended up having just a super hard time with Aurora Veil.
Oh yeah.
And yeah,
Like
although
in my opinion, once you if you know you only have like a couple bulky mons in your team, like Registeel, you have it's if you want to keep them around until you know they won't be useful anymore. Like an example is like once you know the mons that Registeel is there to wall out, like Alola Ninetales and whatever other mons you built it for. Then you, in my opinion, that's fine to get rid of it after that. But if there's still those mons left, you should try to keep it around if possible. And also, Truant on Slacking just kind of hurt. That's a free setup turn for the other person.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
I mean, if you want to, you can run that stab Hyper Beam.
Yeah, I felt like just going into Delmise would have been a fairly safe play there, but oh well. I did kind of the Scarf Slacking set was kind of cool, but that was like there wasn't too much. Just sacking that right away and then just not having anything that could really deal with like Aurora Veil. Like so many of the other mons just walled. So many of Apache's mons just shut down Nathan's team once it was behind Aurora Veil and didn't really have anything to help deal with that.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the next?
Yep. So next we have Naz. I guess I'll go first. So Naz, I thought played once again a decent game, but wasn't making any predictions and was kind of with Wolverine's team. It's such like a fat team that you kind of have to make some predictions.
And you have to bring those. You have to make sure you hit hard.
Yeah, and Naz just didn't quite have the power to punch through the team.
Yeah.
And that's like one thing looking at his team in general is a lower problem. I thought that maybe like a Tail Glow Manaphy, or would have had to use like Volcarona a little earlier. One of those like because Naz doesn't really have anything that could really break through Wolverine's walls, but if he would have been able to set up with one of those two, it could have done a lot of work.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, even though people might say it's like, oh well, Wolverine brought both team houses. Well, it's like this thing. Even with a bulky team, it wasn't so much stall. It's more of bulky offense where Cakes hits either whittles you down or hits hard at.
Yeah.
So like you gotta. So Wolverine pretty much just outplayed Naz in this match with the fact that he just used his team better than Naz used his.
Yeah. I didn't have too much. It was basically they both played what was in front of them, but Wolverine just had like the team that matched up better.
Yeah, and he also played his team better.
Yeah. Okay, so should we go into number 10 now?
Yes, and we both have different picks for number 10. You have Sephi and I have Capital.
Yep.
Do you want to? I mean, our picks rotate again at 8. So do you want to go over them now or?
I guess let's just each take our own here, and we can kind of explain.
We can go over Sephi first, or do you want to go over Sephi or Capital first?
Yeah, so I guess I'll go over Sephi first. Sephi, I thought had a pretty solid game. To me, Pesky just has like a really strong team that's hard to like counter and play against. However, I did move Sephi down a little lower because I thought Sephi was playing like the best game that he could have. But then he sacked like 3 Mons to take out Dugtrio, and none of those Mons did any damage to it. They all just died in one shot when he could have just gone right in and not had to lose Nidoking and the other Mon that I forget what it was that Sephi ended up losing.
Yeah.
To Dugtrio. So it was those like couple plays at the very end, because I definitely thought Sephi was behind before that, but once he sacked, I think it was 2 Mons to take out Dugtrio, I just thought that kind of secured the game for Sethi losing.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I had him higher is because he was able to make a little bit of that claw back a little bit before he made the 2 unnecessary sacks.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I have him a bit higher. So, and other than that, I agree with what you have to say about Sethi.
Yeah, I definitely can see Sethi like rising up to me if Sethi can play the entire game like he played the first half. It wasn't even first half, like 3/4 of that game. But then he just slipped up at the end and like secured the loss. So but I can definitely see him moving up just for now, after that one game.
If you want to now over to Capital, I'll start.
Yeah.
I basically have him at 10th because I love Mega Venusaur. I've used it a bunch of times, and if you're gonna play Mega Venusaur, you have to have a Mon dedicated that can check it by hitting it hard. You can't just let it just take hits that are under like 20%, around 20-25%, because it can eat those up and then just Giga Drain or Synthesis back up. You need to either paralyze it, burn it, and either have a nice strong flying or psychic type to take it, because otherwise it's going to be a tough time dealing with that mob. It's way too bulky. It's just so reliable in any situation.
Yeah. So
And that's the reason why I've been so low, just purely for the fact that he wasn't prepared enough to make a Venusaur such a big threat in any match.
Yeah, and that's so I kind of touched on that. One thing though, I have Capital at 8th though is the fact that, well, he kind of struggled against Mega Venusaur. I don't know like what the calc is on that, but if that Draco Meteor would have knocked out Venusaur, I definitely think, I don't know if he would have won, but he would have had a very good chance. But also just like looking at his team, he didn't have like, I know he didn't have any psychic types, if I remember right. Didn't have anything that could hit Venusaur. I don't remember exactly.
The psychic coverage or flying coverage.
Yeah, if he would have had that on Kyurem, but
I'm not counting a hidden power, because he can just eat that up days.
Yeah, because that would not do much. But does Kyurem get extra sensory? It might. But either way, yeah, I agree with you that Capital definitely did not prepare enough for Mega Venusaur, because that was the first thing I noticed when looking at the team matchup is Mega Venusaur was an absolute monster. But I think outside of that, Capital played a pretty solid game. One other thing that I noticed though was when he went for the Toxic with a Blastoise on the Gligar, I don't understand why he went for Toxic over Scald, because Scald would have done a ton of damage. There's no chance of like Water Absorb when there's the chance of immunity on Gligar, and also I feel like if they would have switched out, I feel like they would have switched into Mega Venusaur, which is also immune to the Toxic. So that was like one play that I didn't really understand. But overall, I thought that Capital, out of the bottom people, played...
out of everyone, he played one of the better games out of the people who lost.
Out of the people who lost, like, through and through the game. I think Sethi had a better first half of the game, but I think through the entire game, I think Capital had one of the best teams. And I think if that Draco Meteor would have knocked it out, once again, I don't know what the calc is, what the role is. I think it could have been a completely different game.
Yeah, but I also know some experience playing Mega Venusaur. I don't know if it's just luck or my amazing stats, but I've lived on like 1-2% a lot of times and been able to get a synthesis off with Mega Venusaur. So I kind of expect that when playing with Mega Venusaur at this point. I've seen it too many times.
Yeah, that is true.
Alright, well now, since we've covered both of our 10th and 8th picks, let's get who we both have for number 9, and that is Captain Stegosaur.
I honestly don't have too much to say about this. I just thought that it's, once again, a lot of these bottom teams, they just kind of played what was straight ahead of them.
Yeah,
but they lost at like team matchup because of that. One big, or not, I wouldn't say misplay, but one thing I don't understand is why Captain sacked the Starmie when they did, when I feel like Goodra could have taken any hit from, I think it was Thunderous, decently well. And then Starmie put in quite a bit of, like, with its speed,
Oh yeah.
it put in quite a bit of work against ZombiesZen's team. So
Yes, like, why would you switch in a Starmie on a Thunderous I? Not Thunderous T.
yeah, especially because it could just...
And then he also left in Gudra on the Mega Zard X, which everyone knows it's insanely hard.
Yeah.
Some, it's like, obviously, since it basically took, basically Okode, I think it was like around 80%.
Yeah, I think so.
It, like, just, it wasn't physical at all, obviously.
Yeah. And then,
It seemed like it probably would have been AB instead, maybe? I'm not sure.
which, yeah.
Actually, never mind. Never mind. It was just Z move. Never mind.
Yeah, it was the Z move. One thing also is I didn't really like the way that Captain used his land, or his Thunderous, because he had Thunderous incarnate, I believe, right? Yeah. And
I prefer, and that's as personal opinion, I do prefer that Thunderous because you can run like a mix set with Defiant, or so you can run the next superpowers on it.
Just like the way he was switching, like he brought it in, I know at least once on a Thunderous, like against the other Thunderous zombies.
Yeah.
When that thing has Volt Absorb, I don't understand why he would do that, because he knows you're not gonna go for a Thunderbolt. Like, I don't know what Captain was gonna do against it, so that's one play I didn't really understand.
Yeah, and other than that, again, that's what it came down to. Is just he played what was in front of him and kind of lost that team matchup basically.
Yeah.
Played a solid game because it only ended up being a 2-0.
Yeah, this was the closest game, I think, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Because most games were like 3-4-0.
Yeah. So this was it was a 2-0, so it was the closest one. That's also why I have him up, is because it was a fairly close game. Unlike the others, most of them were kind of just blowouts.
Yes, 3-4-0s.
Okay.
6-0s.
Yeah. Okay, so should we move on?
Well, yeah, we've already done our 8th.
Yep, so 8th.
Let's go on to number 7.
Yep. So number 7.
Now we're getting into the winners. We're getting into the good people this week.
Yes, these are the winners. So I guess I'll go first because we just talked about this game. So I have ZombiesZen in 7th.
And where did I put him? Because ZombiesZen, he's my 4th. So you're welcome.
Okay. Yeah, I put ZombiesZen in 7th because he kind of just out-prepped, and he didn't... I thought out of the winners, ZombiesZen played one of the worst games. However, he still won. And ZombiesZen had good team building, I think. So if they can keep up the team building and kind of step up their level of play, plus I really like their team, I can see ZombiesZen like moving up. But just currently, it was the closest game, and it was.
So you put lower because of the closest. It was the closest game, lowest just for now.
Yeah,
right?
It wasn't making like a lot of the other people made like some like at least one like decent prediction or something, whereas ZombiesZen I didn't really see that at all.
Well, the reason why I had him so high is because he prepped so well.
Yep.
Now I know usually for like the first week or two, especially in a new league like this, it'll be more so on differential on the wins. But since I see he prepped so well, I believe he can keep going forward with that. And if he can, I hope he can prove me right and keep going forward with good prep and taking W's, because overall, as long as you get the W's, differential won't matter.
Yeah.
And now to my pick, Arch, is basically all the negative points of what I was saying about Mega Venusaur is that he got lucky and lived on that 1%. The game could have been totally different if he didn't live on that 1% after that.
Yeah.
Because Mega Venusaur can almost take hits from anything on his team, pretty much, depending on his set, of course.
Yeah. I do think that... So I put Archfiend in 4th. I do think that he relied on Mega Venusaur a little too much, but it is a mon that you can really rely on.
Yeah, but that's one of the bad things. You don't want one mon that your whole team's fault because then it takes too many hits.
Yeah, and that's what I'm interested because when I quickly looked over the teams before I made my picks, and I noticed that Mega Venusaur did so well. So I think in this game it was definitely something you could do. But that's what I'm interested for the future, how Archfiend's team or how his building goes.
Yeah, because you definitely don't want to leave all the bulk to one or two Mons, because that'll just be the downfall of your team is leaving all the bulk for everyone else in your team.
So some other things, I did like the way that Archfiend was playing. With the Gligar made some good predictions. He came in on the Volt Switch from the Mega Ampharos, and then Roos took an HP Ice, I believe. And then Roosted when another HP Ice would have knocked out, but it outsped Mega Ampharos. So Roosted as the Blastoise came in. I thought that was really good. I don't remember exactly why I wrote this, but I also did notice that there were some kind of iffy plays at the very end, but still ended up winning, I think 3-0. So
yeah,
I think
at the end, after, I don't know. I mean, I understand why he was going for Dragon Pulse instead of Dracometer at the end. It was because he didn't want to have this special attack drop.
Yeah.
But he could have, killed Mega Venusaur at least and had a bit better differential during that situation.
And one thing I also think Archfiend has to be careful for, that I really think also could have won the game for
his opponent,
Capital, is if he needs to make sure he's keeping track of his synthesis, because I think there was a good chance that Capital could have stalled Mega Venusaur out of synthesis, and then could have won.
Because you only get 8. That's the one downfall with synthesis, is you only get 8, and that's just besides that's the only reliable recovery outside of the Giga Drain, and that depends on.
And then Capital had something with what's it called? Pressure. So there was one point he switched out later on when I think he should have just kept on staying in and hitting him with Dragon
PP stall.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of why I just, as I said in the draft rankings, Archfiend probably has my favorite team. So I do like how Archfiend just recognized what he needed to use to win, what won him the game, and just kind of brought it. So I'm interested to see how he does down the road.
Now, do we want to get on to our number 6 picks?
Yeah, we spent a while on this. So we'll go to number 6.
Well, you have Jason, and I have Wolverine. Let's go over Wolverine first. I have him here, because even though I felt like he did play the most solid game out of all the winners overall, he placed him the best. His opponent didn't play the best game out of all of the, maybe except for one game, but his opponent didn't play the best versus him, so that allowed him to just play comfortably and get a nice W. Because I would have him higher, but because he did play, in my opinion, one of the best games, just how he played his team.
Yep.
But his opponent didn't play it up to his best, so I have to put that into account while his ranking.
Yeah, I put Wolverine in 5th place. Sort of for a similar reason. I think this team, a lot of teams are gonna have a hard time breaking through Wolverine's team. And this is one game that perfectly showed an example of it, where Wolverine just kept on just switching between his Tangrowth and Toxapex, so switching between its regenerators until he had a chance to come out with Mega Pidgeot, which can just hit so hard.
And I'll say Mega Pidgeot is heavily underrated.
Yeah.
It's fast, hits hard. I believe it gets aerial aid as well.
Yeah. I don't know for sure. But,
don't quote me on it, because I'm just trying to go off memory here.
Yeah. So I think he played a solid game, but once again, I have him in 5th, not 4th over Archie, just because I do think that Naz didn't play a fantastic game also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so should we move on to the next?
Well, no, Well, I mean, I have Jason at number 1, so do you want to save them till then?
Yeah, we'll save our number ones till we're both at number 1, I guess.
Okay, well, spoiler alert, Jason in my number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, down at number 5, we just went over Wolverine for you, and so we'll go over Apache for me, and basically put him there is because I like how he played versus, because he had to face a lot of hard hitters in Sylveon, in Tracheon. That's all. Victini and Tracheon. My mistake. Sylveon has some nice bulk. Alchemies is always a really useful mon and played well around surprising Scar slacking, even though it's not too hard when you have a free turn every 2 turns.
Yeah.
But I just like the way he played around it, and that's why I have him at number 5.
Yeah, so I put Apache in 3rd. There was I really liked the way he used Aurora Veil, and especially I think Gliscor behind that Aurora Veil. But yeah, just use Aurora Veil really well. There were a couple.
It was Toxic Heal Gliscor with sub behind a screen.
Yeah, like the Delmise, which it seemed like kind of was slightly supposed to handle it or whatever. Hit it with a power whip, and it didn't even break the sub.
Yeah, when it missed, I was like, oh, that's rough.
Yeah. So also there were a couple things though. So I do think that he used Aurora Veil really well. A couple of plays that seemed odd to me were the fact that he didn't expect something when Slack King came out against the Gyarados that we knew should have outsped at +1, and we knew it could knock it out. The fact that he brought in Slack King should have kind of set something off, but I don't really know what else he would have done. Gyarados definitely could have been useful, but I feel like it had kind of mostly done its job. It had put a decent...
it put in his work already. Ridge Steel was gone at that point, so...
Yeah,
I mean, he had bulk to deal with Victini, so it's not like he needed it specifically just for Victini. He had Gliscor to handle Victini.
Yeah. There was another time where he used Aurora Veil when there was still 1 turn of Aurora Veil left, so it could have gotten a little damage on Victini or something. I don't really know what was going on there. But that was just one thing that was also odd. But overall, I think that Apache just used Aurora Veil really well.
And used his bulk really well against a hard-hitting team and slacking.
Yep. Okay, so should we
we'll move on to our number 3 because we went over our 4 picks at number 7.
Yep.
So number 3, you can start us off.
So I have Apache.
Which we just went
over. And you have
I have Skitty. I have him because he got one of the biggest wins. Even though his opponent got sacked off to the Dugtrio at the end there. Even with his opponent making that little claw back, he still stayed calm, remained solid, and just beat his opponent big time. Not too much to say from me. I just like that he was able to get that nice big W, even stopping his opponent from making a comeback.
Yeah, Pesky Skitty, I put number 2, just because Pesky Skitty's offensive core is so solid. He's got Zygarde, Mega Metachan, Tapu Koko. Those 3 are all so hard to deal with. So in the game, like, you saw how hard it was to deal with because Zygarde put in a ton of work. I didn't really understand the Zygarde set. I didn't really look at the other team too closely, so it might have had something to do with that. But I felt like just... Honestly, Pesky Skitty probably could have, if he had Dragon Dance instead of Protect, set up the sub, set up a Dragon Dance right away, and swept the entire team. But overall, Pesky Skitty just played a really good game with a really good team, and I think it was one of the most solid.
Yeah, well, I mean, besides the 6-0, it was the biggest win. So
yeah, and then also I think at the beginning of week 1. Pesky Skitty swapped out Dugtrio for something else, but I think that was a really smart move because Pesky Skitty already has Zygarde, which is, I'd say, almost definitely a better ground type.
Especially now that it has 1,000 Arrows.
Yeah.
Just giving it that move alone has increased, has buffed it so much.
Yeah.
So
one thing I guess I didn't really understand is.
Oh wait, no, yeah, he picked up Snorlax instead, so he got some nice bulk.
Yeah, which I think his team lacked a little. So I think that was a really good choice, which makes his team even scarier.
Yeah, and also that night. Oh no, I was going to say that night pull for I think Pancake and realized, oh yeah, it's not a team one.
Yeah. Okay, so should we continue on?
Yeah, number 2, I have Vesuvius, and you have Pesky Skitty.
Yep. Which I guess we'll just go to the next one, because then.
Yeah, because yeah. So number 1, you have Vesuvius, and I have Jason Gallade. Do you want to go over Vesuvius first?
Yeah, sure. I guess I'll start. So Vesuvius, I put his number 1 because he's 6-0 his opponent. But there was the big thing to me was that, first of all, recognized right away that Luke probably didn't have any hazard removal, so immediately set up hazards with like toxic spikes. Yeah, and that was like really great. And then also, Vesuvius got a 6-0, but it wasn't a 6-0 just based off like a miss or X Luke playing poorly. Vesuvius just was so far like.
He was just thinking way further ahead than Luke.
And I think compared,
it's like he was just in his mind. It's like, okay, you're gonna switch into this, and you're gonna go for this, and boom, there goes 50% of your health.
Yeah, and I definitely think that Vesuvius was above like any of the losers, obviously. But I even think Vesuvius was just on the next level above any of the other people who won, because he was constantly making plays, whereas most of them kind of just settled in and was attacking ahead.
Yeah.
Like Vesuvius was making plays in their time, and there were
instead of getting comfortable with his lead, he kept trying to further his lead instead.
Yeah, and just did like fantastic.
Which might not play off if it's too risky, but he knew what he was doing, and it obviously paid off in a nice solid 6-0.
Yeah, like I'd say like watching it, most of them were either they were like pretty safe. Like they were predictions, so it wasn't like exactly.
Yeah, once they got the lead, it was just okay. Let's get rid of them as we can and play safe to keep the lead.
Yeah, and it was like all his predictions. It wasn't like if it didn't happen, he was gonna lose. It was like,
it was just more like, well, it might be a bit tougher after that, but he didn't put himself into a place to lose. He made smart but good plays.
Yeah, and I thought that Vesuvius was just on a whole nother level. I know he was giving me a hard time because I ranked him pretty low in the preseason, but after seeing him,
he proved you wrong.
Yes, he proved me wrong so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll talk about Jason Gallade.
Yep.
It's called Celesteela. That's all he pretty much needed this match.
Yep.
Once he was able to kind of set up, especially once Fortress is in, I was like, okay, you won this. It's just, I just liked how he just basically made Celesteela to win, especially after the unnecessary Fortress switching. He just deserved that one after that, because he just won this play lost docked the match, but it gave Jason a chance to set up and just clean up. Of course, he got lucky with only 2 out of 3 Hydro Pumps hitting, but I mean, that's the game. I've missed plenty of Hurricanes in the past that could have won me the game or lost me the game, so it happens. That's why you always play to the miss, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, jokes aside, I like how he played with Celesteela, and how he just played a solid game overall. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, I guess I'll just kind of point out, just Ryan, I have Jason Gallade in 6th, so a little ways down, and that's basically because I thought Celesteela was a great set. However, I didn't see him do he didn't have to do much else, but he didn't do too much else. I was sort of unsure why he sacked Seismitoad, unless he was sacking Seismitoad just to get Celesteela for free, which like it definitely seems like it could have been, but I feel like it could have just been a little easier. I also get that.
It seemed kind of like that to me. Just trying to yourself, it seemed like that. He sacked Seismitoad to get Celesteela in to me, because when you don't want to get your win con in there and take damage beforehand.
Yeah. One thing I kind of it worked out. But so I definitely think I don't think that he won because of the Hydro miss, but it
definitely helped.
It definitely
even if all 3 hit, I still think Jason would have gone on to win the game.
Yeah.
Because, as I said earlier, at that point, Celesteela just already put too much damage into Duck's team for him to come back and win the game. He might have lowered the differential, but I don't. But I think once that Fortress switch in, he would have won the game regardless, because he just let it set up and do too much damage before. Even with Keldeo hit his 3 Hydro Pumps.
Yeah.
I still think Jason would have had the team to beat the rest of Duck's team.
Yeah, I just think that kind of with that though, I think that Jason, with sweeping a Celesteela, relied a little too much on that Hydro Miss, because like when Keldeo was in, he clicked Flame Charge, which then required him to use 3 attacks to knock out Keldeo, while it wouldn't allow him, assuming it's a Choice Scarf Darmanitan, he wouldn't have outsped Choice Scarf Darmanitan if he would have just clicked Heavy Slam. He could have clicked Heavy Slam twice and knocked out Keldeo whether or not it ended up missing. So I think he relied on that miss a little too much, which is why I put him a little lower. But I do think that he played a good game and had like a great set on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I think that's it.
That wraps up power rankings for week 1.
Yep, so going into week 2, how we kind of think people do. Anything else to say?
Not really. Just let's try to see some closer games in the coming weeks. Make it harder for us to do these power rankings.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how some of these turn out, because I think that there's a lot of like the middle. Honestly, like almost everyone who lost, plus like the people who are some of the people who won even, it was all because they just had characters ahead of them. So I'm interested to see if people really step up like their play level, because I really think that right now it looks like a couple people are really gonna stretch out ahead of everyone else, but we'll see.
Yeah, it seems like the top couple people will have are steps ahead of everyone else, and everyone else will be fighting for those other spots.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm curious to see how our forfeits will do, because we haven't been able to see them yet.
Yeah, that is true.
That's what I'm most curious about, because we've at least had a taste of what everyone else has to offer, whether it was the best game or their worst game. I'm more curious to see the people we haven't seen yet, because those lovely forfeits.
Yes. So hopefully we'll get to see both of those too battle this week.
Yes.
Okay, so with that, I guess we'll end it. Peace out.